everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Constance the Reader, and I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Very excited about this. I will put everybody's information, like the questions and the creators, in the description box because, as usual, you know I'm not ever really that prepared, and I didn't write down their names, so that's on me, but it's in the description box. But we're going to jump right into it because I'm ready to answer these questions, and this is the second time I'm trying to fill them, so let's get it together. So question one, best book you've read so far in 2022. I chose two books for this question. The first one was The Violence by Delilah Dawson. I got it as a early release or whatever on NetGalley. I put it off for a while and then it released this year, and I was like, you know what, I'm so bad about this. I never read them before they drop unless it was the last book in the Women's War trilogy, Mother of All. So let me go ahead and read it the week before so I can give a review. And I really loved it. Now, some of the people that I'm friends with on booktube have not liked it, and that's totally fine. Just something about that book, I loved it so much. I thought it was really great. I would recommend it. Yeah, I've been wanting to buy the physical copy, but I can't decide if I want it as like a hardback or a paperback. I do prefer paperback. So we will be waiting, but I will be owning the physical copy at some point because I would like to reread that book. It was so good. And then the next one I chose was Under the Blade by Matt Serafini. If I got his last name wrong, my handwriting is terrible. I'm gonna put it up as a correction. But that was really good. I listened to that as an audiobook like within the first week of this year. Don't remember how I stumbled across it. It may have been somebody suggesting it on TikTok, which now is where I get most of my book suggestions from. I thought it was great. It was like cult. The theme is cult. So good, very freaky. I really liked it, and I would absolutely recommend it, and I would recommend it as an audiobook too because it was pretty you know, had my heart beating just very fast on the edge of my seat type situation. Question two, best sequel you've read so far in 2022. I really liked Something's Guava Give by Carrie Doyle. I love cozy mysteries, okay? I love them in general, but it's the title and it's usually the cover that gets me. I laugh my ass off when I hear some of these names. I think they're so clever and cute, and this was no exception. Again, this was another book that I got approved for, and it was like auto approval on NetGalley. When I started to listen to it, I realized, and I didn't even listen to for 5 minutes. I just had this feeling like I'm missing something. I probably should read the first book. I was very lucky that the first book was on Hoopla. And I'm really glad I went and listened to the first book first because this main character in the series, terrible in book one. I mean, I think she is truly written for you to hate her. And as the book progresses, you really want to see her win because reasons. If you read it, you will know what I'm talking about. I loved it. So the second book, I thought it was really great. I don't think I caught who the killer was for the second book, but in general, it was just very fun. I would absolutely recommend you listen to it as an audiobook. It was just a fun story. Honestly, I haven't read any cozy mysteries that I didn't like. So I just got my sister into reading the Noodle Shop Mysteries series. She's liking it. She's running through these books very quickly. She's probably going to catch up with me soon, and I just started book 5. So I think it's a hit if you're going to read a book that's going to keep you engaged, but it's also going to be fun. Read cozy mystery. Question 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. So I have multiple books for this one. I chose 2. Now, granted, there's so many more books that are on my TBR that I could use for this, especially all of the ones that are book of the month because I have a problem. But I chose these 2. Other People's Clothes by Kala Henkel. I was really attracted to the cover, and somebody suggested this on TikTok. It sounded really good. It's kind of like mystery. You know, I don't think there's going to be any murder, but maybe there will be murder. I'm not sure. But I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's about 2 girls who live in Germany, and they are, you know, trying to get into the scene, but they live with this older woman. I don't think it's like a hostile situation per se, but they're living with her and she was an author. and some hijinks ensue. And it's a little bit mysterious. So I really am excited by reading this one. And then the next one is Homicide in Hollow Hollow by Mia P. Manansala. This is the sequel to Arsenic and Adobo. So had I read this, this also would have been the answer for question 2, but I haven't read it yet. I got the first book from Book of the Month, and I totally was not paying attention to her releasing a second book. So had I been paying attention, I would have read this and I would have gotten it before the release, but I guess I just assumed that the second book would be on Book of the Month, and that's why I just didn't think about it. But these two I really am wanting to read that were new releases from this year. Question 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So right off the bat, I want to read all the books that are coming out this year for Fire Force. I'm pretty sure that the series is going to be complete this year, like by December. I could be wrong, but the vast majority of I think it's like 5 volumes are coming out this year. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to finish the series. And the next one that I really, really am excited about, and it comes out in August, is Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mother Died. Controversial title. A lot of people don't like that, but it stood out to me. I know that she's from iCarly, but I never watched that show. I don't think I've ever seen anything with Jeanette McCurdy in it, but that doesn't matter. As soon as I heard and saw the cover and the title, I knew I wanted to read it. But sometime last year or the year before, I saw a video by Nikki Swift, the ones where they do the compilation that has that voice in the background, and it talked about her mother abusing her. So even though I wasn't familiar with her in general, I saw that video and wow, fucked up. Her mom, no. But as soon as I saw that she was making a book, I was like, okay, I definitely want to read this. I'd like to know more things from her perspective, but crazy. So I definitely can't wait to read that one. Next question, biggest disappointment. So one of them was Raw Hero, the last volume in the series, and I believe that was volume 6. That was by the same creator as Prison School. And to be fair, I've talked about this before, I loved Prison School, but you get to the field day arc and it just kind of fell flat for me. I was really disappointed on where the story went, and then it just ended, and it ended at the field day arc. So not happy about that. And I felt like in Raw Hero, the final volume was just completely rushed. I had to go back and look and see where did we leave off again? Why are we here? Raw Hero is very funny. It's very dirty. It's very raunchy, obviously. So, content warning for nudity, piss and shit and titties, penis, craziness, Prison School. But they definitely rushed the end of that volume, and it was so disappointing because I was really excited. I didn't even think that it was ending in volume 6. And then this one, I felt kind of bad about adding this because it wasn't the biggest disappointment I've ever had, but at least for the year, Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. It wasn't terrible by any means. And I've mentioned this before, I just prefer the first book. And if the first book had just ended and it was a standalone, I probably would have really liked it. To me, it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. So obviously we had to have the ending that you get in the second book. But I don't know, it was just so long, but it also had been so long between reading the first and the second book. So maybe my opinion will change later if I reread the series, but that was a disappointment for me. Next was the biggest surprise. So I'm just going to be lazy and say Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I picked that up. I read it basically in one sitting. So I genuinely liked that. That was a good book. Because I couldn't really think of anything else. What did I read that was such a surprise to me? I don't think really anything. Maybe the violence. The violence could also work for that one because, I waited till the very last minute to read it, and I had kind of started it, but not even scratching the surface when I first got approved for it. But that really surprised me because of how much I loved it. I couldn't put it down once I got into the swing of things. I think that book is really great. So once again, go on ahead and read it. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? So even though I started reading this author last year, I'm going to include her now because I just really, really like her a lot. And it's Vivian Chen. So she is the author of the Noodle Shop Mystery Series, Death by Dumpling, all these other really good books that I've been reading. I've now just started book 5. So she's an author that is new to me, and I really like her. Now, I could have put some people from Book of the Month Club, but I don't remember their names. And I don't want to add Alice Feeney because I just said her name. But I mean, I like that book. Will I like her other books? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But at this point, I have read 4 books very quickly from Vivian Chen, and I think that she's a great author, and I love her stories and I love her series. So she is the answer for that one. Newest fictional crush. I don't crush on characters, but Danny Brown's boyfriend in Take a Hand, Danny Brown, loved him. Zaf, I believe his name was. I'm now reading Act Your Age, Eve Brown. The jury is still out on Jacob, okay? I hated Red in Chloe's book. So if I had to choose, it would be him with Danny Brown. Also love Danny. Okay, so if we're gonna go there, all the Brown sisters, I love them. Danny's probably my favorite. I do love Danny, so I'm gonna choose this too. And then, I don't know, any woman in One Piece. They're great. Newest favorite character. I didn't think about an answer for this one. Let me look at what I have. From this year, man, that's a tough one. I don't think I have a new favorite character from this year. Maybe Nana from Nana. And it's Nana Osaki, the one who is punk. I love Nana. She's cool. Is there anybody else that I really love that's new to me? No, we'll just keep it at Nana. Book that made you cry. Well, I'm pretty sure I cried at the end of The Bronze Beasts by Roshani Chokshi. I love that series. It's the Gilded Wolves trilogy. I am really jealous of everyone who's about to get these limited edition covers. They're like $100. I would really love them, but I still don't understand how Outcrate works or Fairy Loot or whatever the book box is. So obviously I'm not going to get them, but I'm going to be really supportive for everyone that does, because I just don't know. Like, the thing about book box subscriptions is Book of the Month is just so easy. I know I'm going to get a box that month and I choose it. With the other ones, because I've done Owl Crate before, I really don't get what you're doing. Like, you're subscribed, but not everybody gets a box. So I don't understand it. It's a little bit too much for me. But yes, The Bronze Beast, the last book in that series, made me cry. I cried in Our Violent Ends because a character dies who's been very unlikable the whole series, but you are getting a little bit more backstory with them. And you know that even though they suck, I don't want to say they have a heart of gold, because I don't think they have a heart of gold, but they definitely died truly believing that they were protecting their family. Like, they were vicious, but they were like this, you know, they weren't as vicious as the person who ends up being the villain in the second book, who was also doing things for the family. Not really. This person's motivation was really like, I genuinely think that everything that I'm doing will help my family. I think that made me sad. The violence made me cry. I know I didn't really talk about what it's about. It's the perspectives of 3 different women, a grandmother, her daughter, so a mother, and then the daughter, so the granddaughter. And there is this pandemic that happens after COVID. That was one of the things that kind of turned me off at first about the violence, is it takes place during COVID. I didn't ever really want to read a book like that. I didn't think that it would bother me, but it did, but it stopped bothering me. So basically the pandemic after the pandemic is people are turning violent, killing people, like they black out and then they come to, and basically everything gets locked down. But the grandmother is kind of like a stuck-up, snooty, married to a rich man woman who's very judgmental of her daughter. Her daughter, the mother of the daughter, she is in an abusive relationship. She doesn't know how to escape this abuse. And then now there's a pandemic. Now she's even further trapped with her abuser, which is the reality that actually did happen. And then the daughter, the granddaughter, she is having to deal with everything that's happening. Also kind of an abusive relationship in a way, just hasn't escalated like the way her mom's has. But she's seen her mother abused. And now I think you kind of get the gist of where we're going here. People black out, they get violent. Well, her husband already is violent. What do you think is going to be a way for her to escape that? And there's this moment in the book towards the end, I was crying and I just thought, my God, I thought that was a really great book. A book that made you happy. Book that made me happy. There's a lot of books that made me happy. Honestly, I'm really enjoying making my way through Hunter x Hunter. I know I'm going to finish it this year, and I started this year, so that would be one. Is there anything else that made me happy? It's like the only books that are like entering my mind is all the manga I've read. It's like sprinkled in with other books that are like fiction or nonfiction, but it's almost like I can't grasp at them. You know what I'm saying? It's so hard. Probably, so I don't know what it is about my mouth, but for some reason it won't let me like pronounce this well, and it just kind of feels like it's gonna come out as meh, and I don't think that's right. And that was see, you know when you like you get to that point where it's like why am I having a problem? Miruku-chan. I should have just held it up. But this ended up being a surprise, and it also made me happy. The next book in the series comes out this month. I actually just ordered it, and a lot of people gave up on it after the first volume because, you know, it definitely is trying to, it definitely makes you feel like it's just going to be pure horror, like just fucking scary shit. But it's really not. Like, it's a little bit more than that, and it made me happy because there's a storyline happening now that you really even see in book 2 and 3, where she is seeing spirits. She believes that if she does not acknowledge them, that they'll go away. But of course, you have to, like, you know, you get the idea that they're probably, like, she probably is supposed to help them move on. And something like that happens, and it made me kind of tear up a little bit. It was really sweet, but it also was like, see, now I'm getting excited about the book. So this made me really happy. Honestly, most of the manga I've read has made me happy, and Hunter x Hunter for sure. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year received. I don't think I have any pretty books from this year, to be honest with you. The vast majority of the books I've bought are either nonfiction or manga, and anything else is kind of like from book of the month. And it's not that I don't think those covers are beautiful, but they're just kind of like, yeah, that's a cover of a book. So I don't have anything for that one, just to be honest with you. And last but not least, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? All of them, okay? There are tons on the shelf that's over here, which I think you can see. I mean, so the whole second shelf, if you can see that, I need to read the vast majority of those nonfiction books. All of Die Greyman, a lot of the fantasy there. I've got Bleach there. This one's still coming together. I think you guys can see this one. I've only got a few romances that I have to read on this, and then those 3 books that are in the front are books I got from publishers, and they're all nonfiction, so we shall see. And then, you know, eventually you will see a video of all the Book of the Month Club books I have that I haven't read, and it's a long list. So what don't I have to read by the end of the year? That's actually the question we should be asking. I got a lot, okay? And I just ordered 4 more books, but they're manga, so I'll read them very quickly. That doesn't really matter. But the year's not over, so I will probably still be getting something from Book of the Month because I'm a sick little puppy. Sick little puppy. So thank you so much for watching. Please do the mid-year book freakout tag. Like I said, I'll put the questions down below and the creators down below. Let me know what you thought of my answers. Are there any that you would answer differently? Are any of the books that I talked about ones that you read? Did you like them? Did you not like them? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, like the video. If you're new, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Why not? Follow me on social media. It's in there in the description box, y'all. Click on them. Follow me. Subscribe to me. Let's do it. Let's get these numbers up. With that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. Have a good day. Goodbye.